Sit back, relax, and enjoy as Don Tony gives you news and reviews from AEW, NXT, and indie wrestling too.
Know what's happening in the world of wrestling without the hate and clickbait.
It's Wednesday night, Don-O-Mite.
And now, your host, Don Tony.
Boy, I hate cinderblocks. Do you? Oh my God, was that awful. Oh, that was awful. Holiday bash or holiday trash. I don't know, man. I wasn't feeling Dynamite tonight all that much. I know people out there, it's epic, amazing, it's unbelievable. I have goosebumps. I don't know. You know, I know we're in a holiday week, and it still doesn't feel like Christmas for yours truly. But I don't know. Something was off tonight with Dynamite. And I tell you, you know, you followed Dynamite for the last couple of years, and one of the most annoying things that we have always had happen is Excalibur talking to us, and it's not him, so to speak, it's AEW talking to us as if we're supposed to know every New Japan star who shows up, IWGP, anybody. You know who that is. And who was the wrestler that time? Well, it was Malachi Black. That, you know, we knew him as Aleister Black. Nobody knew him as Malachi Black, and Excalibur name drops him before they even reveal, or he gets to reveal himself what his new name is. But tonight we actually had an appearance by someone. And for the first time ever, Excalibur doesn't tell us who it is. And if you're going to not tell people, it should be someone that we recognize, someone that the casual wrestling fan can identify with. My friends, I'm almost tempted to do a contest tonight on the right. Who dat? Who dat? I loved it, man. I mean, I have even heard of the rapper Tom McDonald, and you have some of these goofs online saying, oh, no, that's Tom McDonald. Yeah, okay, he has some temporary tattoos on his face. That is not Tom McDonald. Jesus Christ. I don't know. It's like a combination of Big Vito meets, like, this looks like somebody who bought Lance Archer on Wish. Hey, give me Lance Archer on Wish. I don't know who that is on the right. I honestly could give a flying fuck. CM Parker get a little bit elevated, puts a smile on my face. I'm not going to lie. Yay! Hey, you know what, one fall? That does look like a low-budget Reno. It actually does. That does look like whatever happened to that guy. Remember him in WCW back in 2001? We were like, who is this guy? And he just disappeared. I mean, just totally disappeared. I don't know what the hell ever happened to him. They should have done an Unsolved Mysteries episode. Whatever happened to Reno? But that whole segment with Keith Lee and Rick Ross, you know, to me, I'm sorry, Isaac Hayes is the man. I think Rick Ross tries to make himself look a little bit like Isaac Hayes, and I'm not throwing shade to Rick Ross. You know, everybody has their juices titillated tonight because, oh my God, we heard a curse word.
You a big motherfucker.
You a big motherfucker. Ah! You big motherfucker. Ah! The segment sucked. Cinder blocks in wrestling suck. They suck. I mean, I started having flashbacks of this. Who remembers the curb stomp? And Seth Rollins on Dean Ambrose. Oh, yes, I said Dean. Dean Ambrose. Cinder blocks in wrestling suck. Now, the move itself was pretty cool. This was probably the best part of it all. But, you know, you see people online, oh, my God, that was epic, amazing, that was unbelievable. Oh, my God, Keith Lee took a cinder block. Oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. Shut the fuck up. Someone would get broken ribs. You don't even see these guys in Japan. You ever see those guys in Japan? And it's not a racist remark. It's something with judo. You know, you see the guys in Japan, they'll put the cinder block on someone's chest and go, whoa, whoa. don't see them doing that. You don't see a Japanese person, oh, let me climb the top of a semi-truck and jump off and, land feet first. That whole segment sucked. And Rick Ross, my God, someone who was brain dead on their deathbed with all the machines turned off could have spotted that a mile away. Hey, Keith, Rick Ross is turning on you. When Swerve says, look, eyes behind your back of your head. What I thought tonight, I thought we were getting a rap battle. I thought we were going to hear Don DeMarco, Don DeMarco. And then I thought, wait a minute. This is Keith Lee in the ring. I love Keith Lee. Keith Lee was my favorite NXT wrestler. And then it became Dexter Lumis. And, the first time around, neither one really got a good shot, once Vince got a hold of them. But then I thought about it, I'm like, wait, you think Keith Lee is suddenly going to do a Maria? You remember Maria, the trial of Eric Bischoff, when Maria was always a brain-dead, dumb, whatever you want to call her, in WWE? And then we had the trial of Eric Bischoff, and she showed up, and she started throwing all these, words and coming off as the most educated person in wrestling history. And it totally, I didn't think Keith Lee suddenly was going to push out bars tonight. I mean, what do we think he was going to do? He was going to start rapping it's Keith Lee. Greetings and salutations. That whole segment was awful. Where the fuck does this lead to? Is Keith Lee going to reunite with Shane Taylor? Oh, goody. Oh, God. Some people are crapping on Rick Ross. I don't follow the guy. If he sucks that bad, don't follow him. I just don't know what it is with Tony Khan and AEW and this infatuation to have like all of these iconic hip hop guys and gals and this and that. I mean, and once in a while you get an 80s reference. Remember the guy from the Karate Kid who had the big plan for Britt Baker? Whatever happened to that? I don't know, man. Tonight's Dynamite was filled with holes. Now, we're going to make this a quick episode because it is Christmas week. I actually, tomorrow, have a crazy day at the office. Friday, I got to get a biopsy done on both sides of my neck because apparently they found 2 cysts on my thyroid, and they're both over 3 centimeters in size. And, they're not saying anything is up, but because it's over an inch, over 1 centimeter, you have to get a biopsy done. So if anyone out there has ever had to get a biopsy on a thyroid, that is a nightmare. I had one done 15 years ago, and when the doctor said to me, okay, come back in a year to get another one, I'm like, you fucking crazy, man. They stick a needle in your neck, and they start digging. I got to get it on both sides. So, yeah. No, don't, give me prayers if I get bad news. Just hope. Hey, the best part is, I swear I will never do another show again. I swear on Jesus Christ, I'll never do another show again. When I got the phone call today saying, could you come in Friday to get it done? I'm like, yeah, no problem. They said, listen, no blood thinners, no aspirins for 3 days. I said, I don't take either one anyway. And then they said, listen, we don't want to, get you nervous, but, we strap you down. And I'm like, for what? And they said that for some reason, when they stick the needles in the neck, your first reaction is to start kicking your legs. And I'm like, what the fuck are they going to do? You going to put bolts in my neck or something? So I'm not looking forward to that Friday, especially before Christmas weekend. I better get laid this weekend. That's all I have to say. She's still up. Anyway, we have a little giveaway tonight. And I let everyone know early that we will do it between 10:45 p.m. Eastern and 11 p.m. Eastern, because I'm not going to be one of those schmucks that's going to make you stay around for an hour, 90 minutes, and then do a contest. We're going to do a quick show today. So by 11 p.m.-ish, we should be done. So we're going to talk a little bit about AEW. We're going to talk a little bit about NXT. We're also going to talk a little bit about Mandy Rose. And by the way, props to PW Inside. I love that cheap, news writing. Remember Monday we talked about that Japanese talent agent that tweeted and deleted that Sasha Banks is coming to Japan on the 21st of December and is going to be there for at least 2 or 3 days. May actually stay a little bit longer than that. I saw them actually report earlier today. They're like, oh, Sasha Banks arrived in Japan. There's like no news, no media. And, look, if you watch older movies out there, what is the stereotype when you see like a Japanese person, especially someone in the United States, like a tourist? They have a camera and there's like nothing. There's like nothing. And you know that they took that from the talent agent that said she was going to be in Japan. Do I think she's in Japan right now? Yes, absolutely. Why would that multi tens of millions of dollars Japanese talent agency that's global, why would they lie about something like that? So she's in Japan. But here's a question I ask all of you out there. Sasha Banks not returning to WWE yet. Now reports are going around that she'll be back in WWE at some point next year. We just don't know when, but it'll happen. Here's my question to you, and I guess we could open up with this because we could get on the Mandy Rose topic for a little bit. I don't need to get into too much about Mandy Rose because last week we really got into a real deep dive with it, and pretty much what we talked about was true. As far as, why she was let go, these reports that she was not given a chance to right the wrong is bullshit. Every single person on the WWE roster has been told in advance what the line is as far as doing things outside of WWE on social media platforms. She knew she crossed the line. She and her fiance talked about this, and they still went ahead with it. But as I put on a preview, and this will lead to a little Sasha Banks question I have for some of you out there, and I think it's going to be a really interesting discussion. If you saw the thumbnail for today's show, the evolution of the diva. I'm telling you guys and girls, Mandy Rose might not be like one of the top wrestlers of today. She has improved significantly. But she is Wrestling Diva 2.0. The term diva, you give it a little bit of time, my friends, the term diva is not going to be a dirty word anymore. And Mandy Rose, I'm telling you, is going to cause a problem for WWE because TMZ has covered it. Mandy Rose's agent has talked about it publicly. If you do simple arithmetic, you could figure it out. Last week when we talked about Mandy Sachs and her FanTime page, she had about 10,000 likes on that page. And she was charging $40 a shot, $30 a shot. Now she's charging $20 a shot. In 1 week, she went from 10,000 likes to over 20,000 likes. And a majority of those 10,000 additional likes paid $30 each to become a member of her page. You cannot post a like unless you are a paid member of her page. So you start doing the math and you add up those thousands of $40 memberships, the $30 memberships, and now the $20 memberships. Mandy Rose, in a matter of a couple of weeks, is going to make $1 million on her fan page. Do you remember last week when I said no one should feel sorry for Mandy Rose? She's going to break the fucking bank with this. Now, yes, FanTime, for those that don't know, take 20%. Uncle Sam is going to take probably, 40%? So she could make $1 million. She'll take home probably about $350 of it. That's $400,000 at the most. So, but that's still a lot of money. Mandy Rose is going to cause a major problem within WWE because you have to start asking yourself, do you think other women are going to follow the basically template of what Mandy Rose is doing? If you have it, you want to flaunt it. Some women do like to pose in skimpy outfits. Some women do like to show off their bodies. I'm going to say something now that is going to stick with you for a very, very, very long time. In the 90s and in the 2000s, it was Playboy, where certain women in wrestling, if you were popular enough and beautiful enough, you get an opportunity to pose in Playboy, and you make some decent extra money out of it. Playboy is now been replaced with OnlyFans, FanTime, and other outlets out there. And here's the greatest thing about it. Mandy Rose has an agent. A lot of women in wrestling do not. If you have decent enough camera equipment, shit, you could come out of the shower wearing almost nothing, grab an iPhone, snap a picture, put it on your FanTime page. And if you're popular enough in wrestling, you're going to get tons of people to subscribe. You don't have overhead. Some women are going to follow the path of Mandy Rose, and they're going to realize, as much as I love wrestling, as much as I love taking bumps in the ring, I could just fucking hang out by the pool all day, go to the beach. Some people will follow me going to Kroger's to buy almond milk, and people will pay me money for it. And if you don't have an agent, and FanTime or OnlyFans, they take their cut, and you pay your taxes. Do you realize how much money can be made here? Mandy Rose is going to be the evolution of the diva. And diva, in a very short period of time, is no longer going to be considered a dirty word in pro wrestling. And I don't want to name drop any specific women in wrestling. Few that are in NXT. Take your pick. Some of you in the chat room have chose names tonight that I agree with you 100%. You don't think that some of those women right now are not considering Jesus Christ? Wow. You know, what happened with Andretti? What happened with Andretti? Hey, how do you want to get out of your AEW deal? Fight with people in the back. No, it didn't actually work that way, and Andretti was not trying to get fired. But if a female in WWE or NXT really wants out of their deal and pursue something like this, all they got to do is kind of cross the line and open up one of these pages and post something a little too risque. And WWE, hey, if you let Mandy Rose go, you got to let blah, blah, blah go as well. So this is going to be a major, major problem for WWE. I guarantee you, in the year 2023, you will see sources out. This is sausage on steroids. You will see places reporting that WWE may have to either stop everyone from doing the social media stuff again, or it has to be signed off by WWE before they can do any of this stuff. And here is where it gets more interesting. Remember what I said last week about the independent contractor versus the independent content creator? WWE is going to have to change some of the wording in their contracts. Because WWE, they may own Mandy Rose, but they don't own Amanda Rose, who's just hanging out by the pool and getting paid by fans for showing pictures of herself. You know, she's not wrestling. You know, so there is 2023. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. Now, I ask you this. If you were Tony Khan, and you know how Tony Khan is, will never stop wanting to sign people. As long as this guy got billions, you know, he can have a trillion toys. The Redeemer, once again, redeems another week doing nothing. Lana getting a little ballsy now. Did you hear? Lana did an interview and said, I believe that Rusev will be back in WWE. We will have Rusev Day again. You know, you just keep going. Just give it a little more time. It'll happen. But, you know, Tony Khan has too many toys, doesn't know what to do a lot with them. Now, some of the toys, obviously, he says, you take care of these toys. You make sure that they all work. And FTR tonight, you know, we knew what the outcome was going to be tonight. We've been talking about the whole 2022 with FTR and AEW. It was smoke and mirrors for the entire time. As long as they had the toys and the trinkets from the other companies, that showcases them on our shows and make them seem like they're bigger than what they are. But in actuality, they were so spectacular, great tag team of the year, one of the greatest teams in recent history, that they're not worthy to carry the belts where their home promotion is, but they could carry everyone else's belts. Just let that sink in for a little bit. 2022, the biggest win that FTR had in the AEW record books was against the Gun Club in early 2022. They close out 2022 with a loss to the Gun Club. You look at their overall record in AEW, it is a fucking joke. And I watched all these people today in shocked disbelief that, oh my God, they've lost 3 matches in a row. What the fuck is going on? Why is he being buried? These guys were being buried all year long. And make no mistake about it, you know, this picture popped up on Dax Harwood's social media's Instagram a couple of days ago. Oh, look who Dax Harwood bumped into Christmas time. None other than CM Punk. And he shows it because CM Punk is a good friend of his. And you think the people that matter in the back, the executive VPs, how they are so soft and snowflake-like, coddled, that they see this, they take it. Hey, Dax, in his mind, hey, I'm hanging out with a good friend of mine. It's Christmas. It's a nice picture. For the EVPs, you know what's going on in their head? This motherfucker's rubbing it in our face. He's rubbing it in our face that they're friends with CM Punk. We'll show them. Next still job to fucking midgets on TV. You know, that's the mentality. If you think, I mean, if you don't think that these EVPs within AEW are not that soft, oh my God, you know, I don't know what planet you come from. And by the way, tonight on Dynamite, I am convinced that they're piping in some sound effects. They're piping in some extra reactions from fans. Tony Storm is the best example of it. I'm telling you, I know Tony Storm is beloved by AEW fans. I like Tony Storm as well. But something happened tonight that you probably didn't even notice. But when I have the TV on and have it on loud, you notice a lot of things. And when Tony Storm came out to make the save for Hikaru Shida, if you have the show recorded, or if you could watch a replay, or if the clip is online where before Tony Storm came out, about 5 seconds before she came out, I want you to put the volume up loud. And when her music hit, you heard this reaction from the crowd, the same reaction when Okada showed up, the same reaction where, not Takashita, I can't remember the other guy that showed up recently. There's a certain reaction that you rarely ever hear in wrestling when it's somebody just beyond larger than life. There's that pitch, that sound where people are excited. Oh my God, a run-in, somebody saving the day. But you'll hear the noise and you'll say to yourself, they ain't no fucking way. And the reason why I say that is because Tony Storm's Titantron video showed up. Her music started playing. They knew who it was. Listen to the reaction when she ran out. Listen to that first second or two, and you're going to say to yourself, and then look at the crowd reaction when she hit the ring. Ain't no way that was the actual reaction from the fans. Little things like that. Little things like that. Oh, no, look, every big promotion pipes in some type of noise. It's to enhance. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's interesting to see some of the choices that some of these promotions do when it comes to sound effects. It does get very interesting. I mean, WWE screwed up royally sometimes. And listen, it's not that long ago where we had Thunderdome and we had crowd reactions and chants, and there was no crowd. I mean, even when I was doing Thunderdome as Deli Man all those times, you know, nobody in the building in that Thunderdome our voices were not coming out. You didn't have them saying, all right, everyone, you know, on the count of 3, I want everybody to scream at the top of their lungs. No, they just wanted you to just do goofy things on video to make it look like you actually gave a shit. But, man, that was Ishii. No, not Ishii. Ishii doesn't get that kind of reaction in the States either. So here's what I want to ask all of you. And I really mean this. And I thought about this pretty deep and I know we kind of touched on it before, but if you're Tony Khan, in my opinion, you pursue Mandy Rose before you try to pursue Sasha Banks. And I know for some of you out there, you might think I'm crazy when I say that, but I'll tell you why. I do believe that there are a lot of fans that followed CM Punk into watching AEW, or if you want to go to reverse, when CM Punk left and the EVPs did what they did, I think it left a little bit of a foul taste in some fans' mouths, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to take a little break from this shit. And the ratings have obviously resulted because of part of it. It's not the sole reason, but it's definitely a contributory reason. So if Sasha Banks were to show up in AEW, you would definitely get that 1 million plus rating, and Rampage would probably get a couple of 100,000 extra viewers because people would be very, very curious to see, what is she going to do? What is she going to say? Who is she going to interact with? So that curiosity factor absolutely would be there. The thing is, though, and you got to ask yourself this question, and I've brought this up many times, and a lot of people online don't bring this up because when you start dissecting it, it doesn't make AEW look as impressive as you think that they are. And that's not a shot on them. But, when they get 900,000 viewers, I ask you, how many of those 900,000 viewers only watch AEW and don't watch WWE? For each and every one of you that are live right now or watching this on a replay, ask yourself, do you also watch WWE programming? I think 80 to 85%, maybe even 90% of everybody tuning in watches some form of WWE during the week as well. You may not watch it live. You may watch clips on YouTube. You may watch recaps on other platforms, but you watch WWE as well. And you can't do a poll with something like that because hardcore AEW fans, to enhance the numbers, will turn around and say, I don't watch WWE, just to influence that number. And for people that don't like AEW, even though they watch it, they'll say, no, I don't watch any AEW. So you always have fans that will be biased to the promotion that they enjoy the most. So you'll never be able to get an honest answer by doing polls. But now we get to Sasha Banks. Once Sasha Banks shows up, how many extra people do you think are going to tune in weekly to see her do a backstage promo, wrestle once a month, have, just a pre-recorded segment, Sasha Banks speaks? I think that wears off very, very quickly. And then you got to ask yourself, who does she have, top matches with? Not WrestleMania quality matches, but what talents in AEW is she going to have these spectacular matches with? If you foresee a match with Britt Baker, fine. Jamie Hayter, fine. Thunder Rosa, if she returns, fine. Saraya would be obviously very fascinating because of the original injury that Saraya received. That's a storyline in itself. And then what? Emi Sakura, with all due respect, Abaddon, the Bunny, Sky Blue, Red Velvet, Blue Apple, when you start really thinking about it, those big feuds, they fizzle out very, very quickly. And you're going to get 4 or 5 weeks. Look, on Rampage Friday, Eddie Kingston and Ortiz are going to speak. You look at Eddie Kingston and Ortiz on TV over the last 3 months. What the fuck have they done? If you actually think about it. Now, I'm not putting them on the level with Sasha Banks. My point is, there are so many people. And unfortunately, there are so many people that are at this level that, you bring in somebody on this level, once you get through a couple of people, like Saraya, once she's done with Britt Baker, what's next? What, Ruby Soho? I'm honestly not that's not titillating my juices. You actually get past Britt Baker, what, Jamie Hayter? And I honestly think a lot of people would root for Jamie Hayter to beat Saraya, with all due respect. Saraya is going to be there for 6 months, and people are going to be like, I don't know, something just feels like it's missing. So how does Sasha, and if Sasha Banks gets a ton of TV time, that means other people are going to lose their TV time. So in my opinion, Mandy Rose would be a better fit in AEW, especially the fact that Tony Khan would only have to pay a fraction to Mandy Rose compared to Sasha Banks. You think Sasha Banks, because she loves wrestling so much, that if they promise to do the Eddie Guerrero Cup, or something for Sasha, you think she's going to say, okay, I'll do it for $300,000. Okay, just pay me by appearance, $100,000 an appearance. Tony Khan is going to have to pay fucking millions for her. And because he's a billionaire, it doesn't play a dent to him. Even if he gave her $10 million, that's chump change for Tony Khan. But what are you actually getting with that? That's more of, him getting a big grab away from WWE. But that's more of like an ego thing than anything else. Mandy Rose, you let her do a FanTime stuff, you let her do outside curricular activities, and she still does a little bit in pro wrestling, especially the way AEW utilizes the women, that would probably be the perfect fit, in my opinion. So if I was Tony Khan, I would not consider pursuing Sasha Banks, seriously, because I think in a matter of months, with all due respect, everyone, she is not going to feel like this incredibly larger-than-life, one of the greatest women wrestlers of the last 15 years in a lot of people's eyes. After, I think, 6 months, it's just going to feel like, Toni Storm. I mean, she made the save today. You actually look and see what she's done in the last 6 months. Today, Jamie Hayter got her first title defense against Hikaru Shida. And I'm like, how long does she have this title? And then today was her first defense? And I'm sorry, we all know Hikaru Shida is getting no push in AEW. But she's got the Vagina to Wave title. So we're supposed to feel like she is bigger and, more valuable than is perceived. Hikaru Shida has not been given any push in AEW for a long time. And look at Ricky Starks today. Ricky Starks had a fun promo exchange with Chris Jericho. I think AEW did something today that you probably didn't even realize. Is AEW trying to make us forget that Ricky Starks still has a title shot? Remember, Ricky Starks didn't just win, the Diamond Battle Royal. He also won that Eliminator tournament. He's got 2 title shots. Unless I missed something somewhere, that he put both his shots up on the line last week. Ricky Starks comes out and cuts a promo today and says, if I have to start at the bottom and work my way back up, so be it. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, did I miss something here? Doesn't he have another title shot still? I believe he does. And as soon as I heard that today, I'm like, okay, this promo already doesn't make any sense. And then you realize, okay, he's interacting with Jericho. That's not a storyline that's going to last 2-3 weeks. He's going to go at it with Jericho. He's going to go at it with Sammy Guevara. He's going to go at it with Daniel Garcia. He'll probably have to go at it with Jake Hager because he cheap-shotted him earlier. And now they're, I think pushing a little bit too much this Action Andretti, which I like the guy. We praised him last week. I gave you a little bit of background about him. But with all due respect, watching him make the save for Ricky Starks today was fine. Until you actually watch Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia, and Jake Hager and watch what they're doing when Action Andretti hits the ring and is about to nail Jericho. They're hanging out in the corner, and it almost felt like, hey, you want to go to ground round afterwards? I could use a burger. Hey, what'd you get your wife for Christmas? Hey, you want to go hang out after the show? They're just like standing there looking. And he nails Jericho, and then Guevara says, oh, it's my turn, and then he does it. And the other 2 schmucks are just standing there. And, unfortunately, and this is a lot to ask for Action Andretti. He's still a very young star. He's been working indies, where indies, you get to hone your craft, but you don't have, these people that are scrutinizing every little thing that you do. The worst scrutinizing that you get on an indie show is the crowd may say, you fucked up, you fucked up. So when you have the hard camera and you got Hager, Guevara, Garcia, Jericho, 4 big-time stars, and they're in the ring with you, and he's not smooth enough, fast enough, reaction enough to know to do this, do this. If you ever watch and I'm not comparing WWE to AEW, but I'll give you a good example. If you watch Sami Zayn and the Usos, when the three of them start getting beat up by one person like Kevin Owens or something else, you will see the other two wrestlers like moving around. They may intentionally like fall backwards, fall on their knee, like make it look like something happened, which is why they're not immediately trying to attack Kevin Owens. And as each one is getting a shot on them, the other two are making sure that they're not just standing there holding their dick in their hands. And watch that segment tonight, but nobody will talk about that. It's just unbelievable, incredible, amazing. And it's little things like that that just turn the shit off for me, to be honest with you. Now, a cool moment, though. Later on during the show, Action Andretti, had a little interaction with the Jericho Appreciation Society in the back. Now, Jericho, the Wizard, made a cameo. And I think I have the video. Do I have the video? I should have the video. Let me see. Action Andretti, where are you? Shit, do I have it? Oh, yeah, I do have it. Action Andretti's in the back, and he's talking about, how excited he is. And, when he first started cutting a promo, it came across as a heel. But then he gets interrupted by Matt Bernard and the other guy, and they say, "You're on fire." Now, I didn't think anything much about the fire word. Hey, he won last week against Jericho. He made the save today. You're on fire. It's a phrase. Well, Action Andretti's like, fire. And he just turns around and, I give him credit for not putting his hands up. But if you look at the screen very quickly, watch to the right. Took the fireball right in the face by the Wizard, Chris Jericho. I thought that was great. Obviously pre-recorded, and something like that should be pre-recorded because we know how fireballs could end up a lot of times. If that would have missed, it would have killed all the momentum that Andretti got in 1 week. That was an awesome-looking fireball. And look, he is starting off his AEW contractual career on fire, literally. But a lot of segments tonight, a lot of segments that were kind of shangada. Hook had a squash match tonight. Who did Hook beat? He beat Exodus Prime. That was the guy the other day. I said he sounded like a Transformer. Optimus Prime, was it? So he beats Exodus Prime, and then after that, Hook is in the ring, and he's watching Jungle Boy get thrown into a garbage trash bin, a dumpster, by Will Morrissey, Big Bill, in the back. So you know where this is going. This is going to be Lee Moriarty and Big Bill versus Hook and Jungle Boy, and Lee Moriarty will eat the pin. There's no way Big Bill is going to get pinned by either one of those guys right now. It's an Acme Insta-feud. That's really what this is. Hook makes the save for Jungle Boy for what reason? This is where it's leading to. My highlight of the night, honestly, besides the fireball, was Sanjay Dutt rapping, spoofing the Acclaimed. That was fucking funny. And Sanjay Dutt just has that voice that if you were just hanging out with him, like after an event and some rap song came on and he just started going at it, it just sounds funny. That, but, you realize at the end of the day, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett are getting a tag team title shot against the Acclaimed. Not a lot of people are very thrilled about it. Now, of course, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, I don't see them winning at AEW tag titles. It's a little bit of nostalgia with Jeff Jarrett. It's got a lot of TNA vibes as well. But, it's like a 3 or 4 week, bump in the road, so to speak. I don't know how long Jarrett will actually be in the ring on television. But you know what? He had a resurgence in 2022. He has done a spectacular job. We really cannot complain about Jeff Jarrett. But when you look at all the other tag teams out there, especially, like I said, FTR at some point during the year, they didn't get those tag titles. And it's mind-boggling. And I remember around June when people were like, no, just give it time. No, just give it time. Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, they just got it. Give them a little more time. Oh, no, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee, when they won those fucking tag titles, people were already talking about how the AEW is already planning their split. It's on my synopsis. Like 3 months ago, AEW already planning on splitting up Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee. And meanwhile, you got these runs that, although they were decent, you say to yourself, you couldn't fit FTR in there. Oh, no. Just give it a little more time. We're only in April, everyone. No, we got the whole year left over. Don't worry. They're going to get it. They're going to be Ultra World Dragon category. They're going to have so many belts that they could open up a store. Don't worry, give them more time. And it never came. That's why my thumbnail from the middle part of this year, will Bryan Danielson ever become AEW World Champion? I don't think so. And today, Bryan Danielson, cuts his promo, talks about being in the hospital with William Regal. Because they're in San Antonio, he's talking about how he trained in San Antonio under Rudy Boy Gonzalez and Shawn Michaels. And, he had his first match 15 minutes away, but he puts over William Regal, and he says he knows that the other guys, don't feel the same way he does, but, he cried when William Regal was in the hospital, this and that. And he gets interrupted by Ethan Page. Now, I am a big fan of Ethan Page. I make it no secret. And their back and forth today was fun. When Bryan Danielson was making fun of Stokely, and Stokely calls him a raggedy bitch, I think he did. And Ethan Page calls him vegetable man, not because he eats vegetables, but when I'm done with you, you're going to become a vegetable. And it's fun. But you realize that this is going to lead to a match between Page and Danielson to eat up another week or two. Remember, it was not that long ago when Ethan Page and a couple of those guys were beating up MJF. And Danielson and Page are going to have a match next week. Meanwhile, 2-3 weeks are going to go by, and there's nothing with MJF, and there's nothing with Bryan Danielson, and we're going to go into January with that, and it may lead to a match in February. And then they're not going to take the title off of MJF this early. So what happens with that? The House of Black, no room for them today. On Friday of last week, they're raging war on everyone. And the best they could come up with was the fucking Factory. So I'm sorry. Tonight was okay, but you read between the lines. Ricky Starks, now he fucks with the Jericho Appreciation Society for the next 2 months. And that quickly shifts him away from the World Championship situation. Bryan Danielson gets into it with MJF, but not just yet. So now it's Ethan Page, and someone else randomly will show up and be angry at him, and that just throws a derailment. Powerhouse Hobbs. We got the video package today about Powerhouse Hobbs, and he's talking about how all his family members growing up were monsters. This one died when he was 3, and he saw skin peeling and bleed blood and this and that. And it's time for me to make others spill blood. I don't feel sorry for this guy. If you listen to the promo today, that's a heel promo, And after 2.5 years, we're getting this now. I mean, all right, let's see where this goes. Let's see if Hobbs is still walking the streets of Los Angeles 6 months from now. Where is this going from here? Is he going to attack Wardlow again? If he doesn't attack Wardlow, who is he going to attack? Keith Lee? Where is this leading? Who does he attack? They already did Ricky Starks, and how did that end up? That feud was horrendous. So, when you start really dissecting this, what are you left with? What are we really left with right now? The Acclaim feuding with Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Wardlow feuding with Samoa Joe, and they're going to have a match next week. MJF has nothing really much right now when you think about it. Ricky Starks, they already shifted to the Jericho Appreciation Society. Hikaru Shida had absolutely no shot whatsoever of dethroning Jamie Hayter. That would make absolutely no sense. Jade Cargill, she's going to fight Vertivixen in an elimination match on Friday. She still has a long way to develop still. Hook is 17-0 now, and people are talking about Rookie of the Year. I mean, look at the matches the people they face. Is that really Rookie of the Year? I don't know. So, you start really dissecting this. There was a lot less to be desired. I like the Powerhouse Hobbs stuff. This feels like a year and a half too late. If they're going to give him a legit run, then I'm all in. I mean, anybody that knows me on these shows, I've been rooting for that guy forever. By the way, we're at 10:53. So in 7 minutes, we will do the predictions contest. Now, I know I kind of alluded to it earlier on. Someone tonight is going to win the AEW Fight Forever video game. Now, I put the notes up so people understand. This game is not being released until early 2023. So whoever wins will get it pre-ordered. You'll have a pre-order. You'll have to let me know what platform you want the game. You have your choice of PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, your computer, Nintendo Switch, or Xbox, that Xbox system. You also have to give me your shipping address. And then based on where you live, that will determine if you'll get it from Amazon or GameStop or Target or Best Buy. But by next Wednesday, you will be emailed your receipt from whichever, company fits your area, and you will have the pre-order. And then as soon as that game gets shipped out in early 2023, you will receive it. So somebody tonight is going to win that video game. And all the criteria is you just have to be in the chat room live. When I don't predict what you think tonight's Holiday Bash rating will be, but that's what the contest is. In 5 minutes, when I say go, you'll type what you believe the rating will be. Whoever comes closest first to that rating will win the video game. And again, make sure if you win, you have a valid shipping address and you let me know what platform you want the game. And I will make sure within the next 7 days, you will get sent that receipt from one of those stores. You will have it pre-ordered. You will be one of the first that will receive the game. So good luck to everyone. We'll do that in a couple of moments. By the way, I definitely want to find out who that guy was alongside Parker Boudreaux that attacked Keith Lee. I got to find out who that is. The more I look at him, the more I'm kind of like, wow, that really does look like Reno. That son of a bitch definitely looks a lot like Reno, but it ain't Reno, obviously. All right. The Gun Club beating FTR tonight. No surprises there. FTR on their way out from AEW. It's pretty obvious. Believe it or not, there's a lot of buzz going around that FTR is about to lose the AAA Tag Team Championships as well. That FTR, if they're going to be WWE bound by April, they will probably have no championships left by that time. But remember what I said. If you look at the WrestleMania schedule and FTR, when their contract is over with AEW, it may not be able to happen at WrestleMania, but, imagine if they show up the SmackDown after Mania and attack, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, or, attack the Usos. I do not discount the possibility of FTR very shortly after WrestleMania showing up on WWE television, especially under the Triple H regime, and immediately getting into it with whoever the tag team champions are. And remember this too, we always talk about Roman Reigns having the two titles and who does he lose them to, and a lot of people think Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes will each end up with one of those championships. And my scenario, I'm sticking with it. The winner of the Royal Rumble gets a title shot at Mania. The winner of Elimination Chamber gets a title shot at Mania. Adam Pearce realizes we got a problem. We got two people contending, so you have two choices. Make a number one contenders match They'll probably do that. They'll probably make a number one contenders match to tease and hype up like, oh, wow, we're going to get a big match on free TV, maybe Raw, where whoever wins is going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And then it'll probably end up in a clusterfuck where there's no winner. And then Adam Pearce, maybe Roman Reigns causes no winner. And then, or Sami Zayn or someone else. And Adam Pearce says, you know what? At WrestleMania, it will be Cody Rhodes. It will be Seth Rollins. And each gets a championship shot. I could see that happening. I could see Cody and Seth Rollins winning those matches respectively. Having a match, that doesn't mean the feud is being sparked up again. Having that match on TV ends in no contest. Adam Pearce gives them both a title shot at WrestleMania. But the reason why I'm saying that tonight is no one talks about what do you do about splitting the tag team championships. Have you heard anybody talking about how you end up with the tag team championships on both brands? No one has talked about that. Oh, the only thing you hear is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to dethrone the Usos. The Usos will finish at like 624 days, whatever it is, and Kevin Owens and Sami will be tag team champions. I think Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens very, very quickly will lose one of those two championship titles. Who knows? Maybe it does end up being FTR. What they call them, I don't like the Revival name anymore. I don't want to hear the name The Revival. And I don't think they would call them FTR. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they do. But you know how WWE is with their, their intellectual property. I don't think they would want to share FTR. I wonder if Dax or Cash own the trademark to FTR. I got to look that up later. Very curious to see if anybody owns the trademark to FTR. If I'm one of those two guys, you absolutely would have had to have done that. So, all right. So as I'm looking through the matches, this Friday also, check this out. We have on Friday, I thought this was sponsored by like some commercial or some company, but it is the Rampage $300,000 Three Kings Christmas Casino Trios Royale. Say that fast 10 times. As I look at the participants in this Holiday Bash $300,000 Three Kings Christmas Trios Casino Battle Royale, I say to myself, wow, it's really, really cool to see Colt Cabana in this. Remember, Jericho brought him back to TV because, he hasn't been on TV for a little while, and they were that motherfucker ain't going to be back on TV anytime soon. So we got that on Friday. Wardlow will talk. Ortiz and Kingston will talk. Jade Cargill will take on Verta Vixen, and we got a tag team title match. So that's what we got on Friday. And, I think that was pretty much it tonight. Hikaru Shida losing to Jamie Hayter. It was a fun match. After the match was over, everybody is giving a beat down to Shida. Tony Storm makes the save. And you knew someone else was coming out because you have Britt Baker and Rebel holding Tony Storm in the ring. And it was an awkward, too much time. They were just struggling with her. And you're like, okay, whose music is going to hit? Okay. And then it was Saraya's music. Could Saraya and Tony Storm end up being the tag team on January 10th? I don't know if people would like that. People are expecting now Alicia Fox. People are expecting Sasha Banks. People are expecting Mandy Rose. People are expecting big names. I'm not saying that Tony Storm is not a big name, but they want to surprise everyone. They want the crackerjack surprise. They want to open up a present. They don't want somebody who's been there already. Now I almost feel like we may end up getting Tony Storm being Saraya's tag team partner. And maybe they'll tease a little bit of dissension between the two. And who knows, maybe Saraya will end up feuding with Tony Storm. That allows Tony Storm to get away from the AEW Women's Championship awfully quickly, just like they did with Ricky Starks and just like they will do with a few others. If you haven't realized it, Powerhouse Hobbs. Do you remember when, and we'll do the contest now, remember JD and I, November 3rd, when we did Forbidden Door 3? We were talking about Hobbs on that episode, and they threw him in that match for the pay-per-view. And we both said, okay, let's see what happens with Hobbs after that match. I thought Hobbs was winning that championship, the TNT title. I thought that is the perfect moment to give him the TNT championship. He could have pinned Joe. But not only did Joe win, but Hobbs is now back to walking the streets, giving us a history lesson, even though he's been there for 3 years. I mean, people shit on Lacey Evans, besides the dumb autism comments, which we'll talk about Saturday. But people were shitting on Lacey Evans, rebuilding her after 2+ years. At least she was a Southern Belle before. You know, we knew Hobbs' background. He did the AEW Unrestricted podcast. He did interviews. He did a lot of things. We know about Will Hobbs' background. So after 2.5 years, you know, we're learning it again. We're being reminded. We're getting a refresher course. But as I said earlier, if this is going to lead to a legit run, fine with me. I just don't know who. Who do you think? I'd love to see your comments in the comment section. Who do you think Hobbs feuds with? Where this leads to? Right now, I'm just not figuring out who. I don't feel it. Like, you don't think anybody in particular. All right, let's do this contest. Do not type it yet. What I'm going to do is I am going to put, all right, let me see if I can clean this up a little bit. Let's see if I can bring this down a little bit. No, I can't. Okay, so that'll have to do. We'll leave that. So this way, this I can remove. Okay, there you go. So I have the chat room on the screen. I have the game on the screen. Now, do not type anything yet. When you see the word go in the chat room by me, that is when you start. All you need to do right now is type in what you believe AEW Dynamite's Holiday Bash rating will be from tonight. Whoever comes closest first wins. So do not wait too long to type in your entry. Now, I don't want to give any advice to anyone out there, but if I could give you a little recommendation, pay attention to how the ratings are shown every week. They are usually shown averaged out to the nearest 100,000th. Like NXT this week. NXT this week did 705,000 viewers. They don't write 705, 316. They just write NXT scored 705,000 viewers. But for this contest, if you think AEW will do 905 and you see someone already wrote 905, then you want to maybe do prices right and you type in 905,163. See what I mean? So you could be as creative as you want. But if you type in more than one entry, your first one is the one I take. If you delete your entry, then you lose your shot. So I'm only going to leave this up for about 30 seconds because it should only take a few seconds. Don't type your guesses yet. I didn't put go yet. So it's got to be within those lines to make it fair for everyone. So plus by typing it early, you're giving away to some people what you think the rating is going to be. And I'll make my prediction as well. And if I end up coming closest, I will not take the prize. So I have no interest in buying a video game right now. But, you know, we'll keep it out there. All you got to do is just type your rating. So get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So everyone, if you want a shot at the video game, even if you don't play video games, if you have a friend, a loved one, a relative, you have a little family member that loves AEW and video games, you could turn around and say, hey, what video game platform you have? And you could tell them, hey, I got you the video game for Christmas. You don't have to tell them that you want it on my show. So even if you don't like video games or you have no intention on playing this game, maybe you have someone that you're close with that is looking forward to the game, and you say, hey, I bought you the game for Christmas. So, all right. So the contest is almost over, everyone. We got about 15 seconds left. So get it, and we'll see what happens. So I am getting ready to type contest over. So this is your shot. If you want a chance to win this game, all you got to do is type your ratings prediction. All right, we're going to do a 10-second countdown. If you can't type 6 digits in 45 seconds, something is wrong. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contest over. Good luck. Good luck, everyone. All right. Let's see what the rating is. I will officially announce it on next Wednesday's show. I'll announce it probably Saturday, too. But next Wednesday, right at the beginning of the show, we'll announce the winner. So good luck. Good luck. All righty. Let's get into quickly NXT. Yesterday, the results. Carmelo Hayes over Axiom. Zoe Stark over Nikita Lyons. Sol Ruka and Alba Fire never started because here we get Isla Dawn showing up once again, beating the shit out of Alba Fire. This time we didn't get no voodoo. We didn't get like that goofy voodoo shit from before. So hopefully NXT and Shawn Michaels learn their lesson very quickly. Yeah, we don't need that shit in NXT. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance retain their women's tag team championships, defeating Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley and Toxic Attraction. We had the New Day. They retained their NXT Tag Team Championships, and I got some news about the New Day in a moment. They defeated Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs to retain the titles. There's rumors that NXT, they're thinking about splitting up Jensen and Briggs, and it will be over women. I'm dead serious. You may see them split up as a tag team. They want to do a major gimmick change to one of those two guys. I don't know which one. So you look at Brooks and Jensen, that's the same fucking person. If you look at Brooks and Josh, you ask yourself, okay, which one? I tend to think maybe Josh Briggs would be the one that they could do a major, character shift with, but we'll see what happens. Believe it or not, Sangha and Veer Mahan may actually be facing the Creed brothers before they go to India after all. And right now, Veer Mahan and Sangha are coming out to be the odds-on favorites to beat the New Day for those tag titles. I don't see it yet. I mean, we need to have them have a few matches, and obviously, they're not doing it yet. But, there is some interesting talk going on right now that the New Day will be at WrestleMania weekend. But as of right now, the New Day are not penciled in to face anybody at WrestleMania. You may have no match for the New Day this year at WrestleMania. They may end up being at NXT Stand and Deliver, defending the NXT Tag Team Championships the day of night one. So keep that in the back of your head, that the New Day may actually not have a match at WrestleMania this year. But they'll be there. So could they be guest hosts? Hey, it's possible, but that's something that they're considering right now, so we should know soon enough. Also, Elektra Lopez beat Indy Hartwell. I know people want Indy Hartwell to reunite with Dexter Lumis. And for some reason, WWE is not interested in that whatsoever. I think there's comedy gold there, especially since they have publicly acknowledged the marriage between Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano on WWE television. I mean, you could see, they do still comedy still. Obviously, we've seen a lot of it with the Dexter Lumis stuff, so that would be some interesting way to go with it. The problem is, I just think if you bring Indy Hartwell to the main roster, other than like Dana Brooke, who's she going to defeat? Is she going to team with Candice LeRae and maybe form a tag team? That's a possibility. That could happen. But as a singles wrestler, if she comes to the main roster, let's think about that for a minute. Like now there's a lot of talk that Chelsea Green may be on her way back to WWE. And that's fine. But I think about both rosters and I say to myself, what does she do when she comes back? Like when Lacey Evans, now obviously with this autism controversy, which we'll talk about Saturday, that might have derailed her return. But even if she didn't say what she said and she returned, does anybody think she's going to leapfrog to like main event picture? So with all due respect, Tegan Knox, Candice LeRae, Chelsea Green, Indy Hartwell, like I see these women coming to the main roster and I say to myself, are they just being put in there to absorb losses? Because look at Emma. Out of all the women I just mentioned, I think Emma might be the most talented in the ring of them all. And she has gotten virtually no wins, and she is being basically designated as, the on-screen, off-screen romance with Madcap Moss. Just think about, Tenille Dashwood in Impact Wrestling, and look at her now. How could anybody in their right mind tell me with a straight face that she's being utilized excellent in WWE compared to what she was doing before. Like Triple H, another win. Yeah, big win for Triple H. Sorry, she may be having fun. She may be getting paid quite well. And she may enjoy the fact that she doesn't have to work as hard as she did before. But as a wrestling fan, to me, she is floated into mediocrity. How does she get a push? I see her losing to Scarlett on television in the very near future. That's not a shot on Scarlett, but where do these women fit in? So I know people get that, tingly feeling inside that somebody that Vince released gets signed back, but that's great, and that's an emotional reaction. But once they're back, what do you do with them? And I think that's something people really need to start thinking about. So I think that's it. Out of everything that we had to get into tonight, I think we covered it all. We got into the Mandy Rose stuff. We got into the AEW stuff, NXT. I think that's pretty much it. How long did we go? Okay, a little over an hour. I wanted to keep it around an hour this week. So before we head out of here, a couple of things. I got a couple of super chat shout-outs that I have to give. A reminder that tomorrow, December 22nd, the latest Q&A mailbag will be posted. And you will actually have the interactive chance to vote on your favorite topic that is discussed. And whoever gets the most votes will get a Don Tony bobblehead. A lot of people have been asking for it, so I found an extra one, brand new in the box. Somebody will win that. I want to give a shout out to Steve Joseph. Will AEW start doing house shows in 2023? And thank you for the 2-spot. I don't believe so. I think the problem is just the workload of the people that are in that company. There is a lot of money involved to pay for travel, to pay for the buildings, to pay to set things up, to pay. If they did a taping for Ring of Honor, if they wanted to do maybe a Rampage shot, a dark, an elevation, a little Ring of Honor, and you do a house show that way, I'm all for it. But as far as regular house shows, no, it's not happening. It didn't happen in 2022. I don't see that happening in 2023. I do believe, though, if AEW goes to an area that has been really clamoring for AEW, or if they go overseas, I could see while they're there, maybe taking an advantage and getting an extra show. If they go to the UK, they go somewhere else. I mean, Canada, I don't think it's happening, but if they go somewhere where they're going to be there for a week, if they can get like an extra house show done and get some material and use that for some of the other shows, sure. But if there's any house shows, it is going to be a rarity in 2023. And, I think right now adding Ring of Honor is going to be a lot of overload. So we'll see what their schedule looks like. But as of right now, there's no signs of regular house shows. None. Theme parks and things with Johnny. Thank you very much for the 5-spot. He says, I don't know, but I still feel like Mandy will be back in the WWE. He feels like they'll work something out. Listen, I'm a Mandy Rose fan. I praised this shit out of her for the last year. The Patreon show that we did the night that she dropped the title to Roxanne Perez, we still didn't know that she was gone. And I spent about 15 minutes that Patreon show paying tribute to Mandy Rose and everything that she has done over the last year. And, inside and outside the ring. Had no idea it was going to lead to this. But my point is this. Now you see that she is on her way to making $1 million in a matter of a month. Within 30 days, she's going to be close to making $1 million. How would you react if I said to you she's making $300,000 a year in WWE? Would $300,000 be a decent salary? Should have been for like an Adam Cole. Should have been for a Kyle O'Reilly or someone else. If I told you Mandy Rose was making 300 G's, I think some of you would say to me, DT, that's a lot. Now, in a month, she made more than she would have made in WWE for 2 or 3 years. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you see my point? How do you not do what Mandy Rose is doing? She still connects with her fans. She misses the live in-ring action. She misses her friends. She misses the women that she worked with. But at the end of the day, She is breaking the bank, and she has almost no overhead. I'm even surprised that she has an agent, to be honest with you. But I personally think as long as she and remember this too, it's $20 a month right now to be a member of her page. Now, how many people out there are going to subscribe just for a month, get their fill, if you know what I mean, and then move on? Even if half of her subscribers left after a month, you're still talking about 100,000 a month, 200,000 a month. I mean, let that sink in. She's going to end up making close to $1 million within the first month or two of that membership. If she somehow keeps half of those people, she could be making $1 million every couple of months. She could end up making $5 million in 1 year. Now, especially that she don't have to answer to WWE. Why would you give that up? Now, I don't consider Mandy Rose someone that would start, going hustler route, if you know what I mean. If you ever saw Hustler magazine, you know what I'm talking about. You watch Playboy. Playboy is like artwork. You go to Hustler, it's like right in your face. Mandy Rose comes off as more of a Playboy, like classy, exotic. And as long as she could keep that interest, and as long as she could keep those viewers, and I don't think she needs to get really ranchy, raw XXX to do that. Mandy Rose keeps it classy and gives not too much, but gives just enough to keep everybody happy. Oh my God, she will make a crazy amount of money. I'm telling you, she is Diva 2.0. That's what I'm coining her. Brian Becerra, thank you for the 10 spot. He said, Dynamite was fine here tonight. Now recording Rampage for Friday night. Oh, he's actually there. All right, cool. Hope you're having a good time. Listen, even though some of the stuff on Dynamite on TV comes off questionable, and then when you dissect, how some things don't make sense or just feels put together for no reason, that doesn't mean that the action is not there. If you go to a wrestling event, you get your friends, your family, a couple of buddies, your significant other, like, hey, let's go to Dynamite tonight. Even if you show up and things are a mess, you're not sitting on your ass doing nothing. You're getting a decent amount of action. You're getting run-ins. You're getting, beatdowns. You're getting, crazy violence. I mean, look at the Elite and the Death Triangle. I'm sick of talking about them. And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and we said it last week. Everybody said today that the Elite versus the Death Triangle, it was a must-win for the Elite. No, it was not a must-win for the Elite today. It was a must-lose for the Death Triangle. Next week is a must-lose for the Death Triangle because you already advertised 7 matches. You advertised in certain venues that these matches will take place on these dates in these buildings if necessary. You think they're going to advertise match 7 in whatever fucking building it is, and then it doesn't happen because the Death Triangle won 4 matches to 2? By doing a 3-1, basically, I will close the show out how I started. With all due respect, the egos and the feel-good cake and ice cream club, the EVPs are the leaders of that. And when you have Excalibur tonight talking about how LeBron James in 2016 was the last time we had 3-1 that it is almost impossible to come back from, when LeBron James had the Cleveland Cavaliers come back from a 3-1 deficit to beat the Golden State Warriors in 2016, 4 games to 3. That is basically setting up that not only are the Elite becoming your next trios champions, but they are overcoming unimmeasurable odds, like just incredible odds. And they came back from a 3-1 deficit and they took it all the way to 7 and they won it. And, after all of this, and at the end of the day, it's just feeding the Elite egos. I'm not saying that the matches weren't good. The matches were fun today. But, when you have 14 minutes of a match and, a lot of it is what it is, you see like this person takes a move. Okay, now who's going to hit me? And then that person gets hit. And then the person who just hit him, now he's waiting. Who's going to hit me next? And it goes one after the other. And it happens every single match. Little things bother me. If you watch the end of that match today, Matt Jackson went to pick up Ray Phoenix to hit him with the Meltzer driver. You go watch that again at the very end, and you will see that Matt Jackson was not ready yet to pick up Ray Phoenix. And what did Ray Phoenix do? He started pushing himself off, even though Matt wasn't ready. And you could see Ray Phoenix pushing himself so he could be set up to be eating a pile driver. And I'm sorry, little things like that are absolutely unacceptable for me. It ruins the suspension of disbelief for me. And the Meltzer driver onto the chair looked like a mess, like it always does. And I'm not shitting on AEW. I like watching their shows. I'm a fan. I support them. But I'm not going to sit there and say, wow, this was epic, unbelievable, amazing, incredible. No, when Ray Phoenix starts pushing, go watch the finish of the match. You'll see what I'm talking about. He starts pushing himself off so he could be put upside down to eat a Meltzer driver. And Matt is like, I'm not ready yet. And it looked awful on TV. So the only thing I do like is what I said before match one. Do you remember what I said? That every match should have a different stipulation. And when they did the first 3 matches, there was no stipulation. And people were like, wow, I got to go through 7 of these? After a couple, you're numb to a lot of the crazy shit. So they made this week no DQ. And it was fun. It had its moments. You get to use some props in front of the referee and, you get away with it. That's fine. Next week, they announce there's going to be Falls Count Anywhere. So out of everything, I like the fact that they have added steps to this. Personally, match 7 should be in a cage. Match 7 should be in a cage, or it should be with even bigger stipulations than that. Maybe you do, what's that rig cage that they did, Blood and Guts? I wouldn't do Blood and Guts because it's only 3-on-3. But I personally think match 7 should be a cage match because somebody will do a crazy fucking dive off that thing. And they picked up on that. I'm not saying they got that from me because I know some of you also said that. Credit to you all that said that too. But one good thing that they did, they realized we can't just do 7 matches with nothing feeling different. People will get sick of it. So the match was fun tonight. The ending kind of spoiled it for me. But again, if you go live and in person, you're just there to have fun, excitement. You're there in your face. You're seeing things go down. There's nothing like being in a building. There's nothing like being in an arena. It feels tremendously different. If you've never gone to a wrestling show live and in person, you have to do it. You will, even if it's an indie show, you will have a ball. You'd be surprised how much fun you'll have in an indie show, even if 3/4 of the people on the show are, people that would never make it to even AEW Dark or NXT. Going to live events is a boatload of fun. So, all right, I'm going to jet out of here. So I hope everyone has a great evening. Much love to all of you who stopped by for a little while. For those who participated on the contest, good luck to all of you. Now, I will be here tomorrow posting the Q&A mailbag. It'll be online, I would say, by 7 o'clock in the evening. And I will definitely get into everybody's questions who sent them in. Saturday, I'll be back for the Don Tony Show, 11 a.m. Now, that is Christmas Eve, and I plan on spending it with family. So we will be here Saturday morning. It'll be a pretty quick show, but we'll definitely get into some stuff. And then we got to start working on, year-end awards, because I really want to get into the year-end awards this year. I am looking at Rookie of the Years. I'm looking at Most Improved Wrestlers. I'm looking at, just comeback stories. I mean, there's been some great choices. And I will say this. I don't want to get into it now because we're not into 2023 yet. But when I think about 2022 And yes, there was a lot of controversy. Vince McMahon retiring, the CM Punk Elite stuff. There's a lot more than that. 2022 was a fucking awesome year for wrestling. I mean, even if you think of nostalgia, the Ric Flair stuff was a little uncomfortable, but Steve Austin returned to the ring. Sting is still doing it. We've had some pretty awesome moments this year in wrestling. We had some crazy storylines. Sami Zayn, his value has skyrocketed. We got War Games on the main roster now. You got AEW, showcasing some stars developing along the way. We've got Saraya back in wrestling in the ring. So 2022, I'm telling you, I look back at 2022 and I say, wow, this was a pretty damn good year for wrestling. And since, we're talking about NXT and AEW tonight, theme parks with a two-spot X me. How are the Mets doing off season this year? I will say the same thing I said on Patreon the other day. The other day, there was rumors that Carlos Correa was going to sign with the Mets, that Francisco Lindor wanted Carlos Correa on the team. I heard tonight that Carlos Correa is agreeing to sign with the Mets. He may have signed already. All the Mets need right now is a second closer to supplement Edwin Diaz. I'm telling you, you think about Scherzer, you think about Verlander, that is an excellent 1-2. I'm going to miss DeGrom, but you look at their offense is great. Now you add Correa to it, holy shit. You add a second closer. I wouldn't put it on the level, I don't know how old you are, but back in the day, in 86, we had Jesse Orozco and Roger McDowell. They split the closing duties. Sometimes we would get Doug Sisk that would fuck everything up. But, if you have two closers and they split, the duties this year, if someone is on a little bit of a rough patch, the other one picks up, I'm telling you, I think the Mets can easily win the East this year. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a New Yorker and I'm a Mets fan. But I'm looking at this team and I feel more excited in this offseason than I have in a very long. I think the last time I truly felt this excited about this team, outside of when they announced Showalter, last time I felt this excited was the early 2000s. I mean, you're talking back, when Ricky was there in 2000. I mean, early 2000s. So, all right, enough Mets talk. We'll talk about that another day. We'll definitely, VJ, I'm not sure about a New Year's Eve show yet. As of right now, I say yes, because I don't go out New Year's Eve. So chances are, yes, I will be here New Year's Eve. We'll definitely reign in the new year together. We'll probably get another cameo appearance by the missus, a little champagne toast. And, I will make that official by early next week. But right now, all signs point to yes, I'll be here New Year's Eve. So Theme Parks is 35, born in 87. All right. So you weren't alive yet in 86, but if you watch like a little old school 86, you'll see what I'm talking about. They split the duties between those two closers and did a great job. McDowell, right-handed sinker, Orozco left-handed, crazy slider, and they didn't even have to throw 100 miles an hour too, but much love, everyone. If I don't see you all tomorrow in the Q&A, if I don't see you on Saturday for the Don Tony Show, if you just come here on Wednesdays, I wish you a Merry Christmas. Everyone who celebrates the Christmas holiday, enjoy it, stay safe, have fun. Hopefully you don't get sick. I am blown away how many people I know who have gotten COVID over the last 2 weeks. And the one thing I keep hearing over and over again, Christmas parties. I haven't been at a Christmas party in a very long time. And I say to myself, what the fuck are these people doing during these Christmas parties that everybody is getting sick? Like, if I go to a party, like I have a drink, I'll socialize, even if you get a little loud, but I mean, what are they doing? They having like 300 people in a building that only fits 100? Like, I keep hearing over and over again, Christmas parties, getting boatloads of people sick. And especially after a couple of years, I'm like a little bit confused by it, I mean, when I got COVID this year, remember, my wife got it because we were in Disney World and she was in all the stores and she was surrounded by boatloads of people. And every time she goes shopping, I would stand outside by the street. You know, I didn't want to be around all those people, not because of COVID. I just didn't want to be around all those smelly, sweaty kids and women that they lift their arms and, I should talk, about heaviness. But a woman goes to pick up something from the top shelf, and you see this giant clump of fat drop from the arms. You ever see that? And then it's sweaty because it's 93 degrees there. I didn't want to be around that. Go play with your Mickey Mouse shirts. I'll be outside getting some fresh air. She got COVID and I didn't. But because, I stood in the same bed with her, I ultimately got it a couple of days later. So it happens. But all right, I'm going to jet out of here. Much love, everyone. All the best. On the way out, if you enjoyed tonight's show, smash that thumbs up. If you have any feedback for what I said tonight, you are welcome to post it. I started answering a bunch of your comments earlier today. Before I go to sleep tonight and the Ambien kicks in, I will definitely respond to more. And most of you out there get a good idea when the Ambien kicks in too much, because then I start misspelling things and you look at it and it just looks like either somebody who never went to high school or Michael J. Fox is typing on his computer. I'll just start putting words together that don't make sense. And some people say to me, DT, you must have been on Ambien last night. You remember, what was it, Roseanne Barr that had the Ambien tweet? I've said this before. You'd be surprised. She's not lying. You take Ambien right before you go to sleep, you're almost in a comatose zombie-like stage if the scenario is right. If you're that tired, and sometimes I'm typing, and I swear to God, I'll fall asleep with my eyeglasses still on. And I'm I wake up and my lens is like this and everything. And I'm like, what the fuck? I literally was typing and I fall asleep. Literally like that. I'll wake up and my hands are near the keyboard. I kid you not. It's not a joke. So sometimes when you see my Ambien responses, if they don't make sense, just say, DT, you were on Ambien last night? Yeah. So be well, everyone. Much love. Talk to you all soon.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live
shit. I couldn't go off the air without this. Easy Dust says Ambien makes him eat in his sleep. Motherfucker, that is so true. Any of you out there ever take, it's Zolpidem is the generic form of Ambien. I take 12.5 milligrams a night because my body have too much pain, so I need it to sleep. I can't tell you how many times I wake up the next day, I look on my floor, and I'm like, where did this ice cream wrapper come from? And then I look on my desk, and I see like the pit of an apple. And then I look on the other side, and I'm like, wait, so I had ice cream, apples, nuts, crackers, potato chips, pretzels, all last night. I don't remember any of it. So yeah, that could happen too. You're in such a deep sleep, you get hungry and you start eating things. You wake up the next day and you don't even realize it. So yeah, no joke. That is legit shit. He's not kidding. Do a Google search. I'm sure there's a lot of people like that. So yeah, we'll keep it rated G tonight. We're not going to talk about other things you could consume, but that has never happened, though. I've never woken up the next day and I turn around and I see somebody like this. And then I realize, what did I do yesterday? I don't remember any of it.
any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host.
Oh, shit. I don't know how that happened. It's okay.
I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.